Hello, welcome to Martinmade. My name's Stephanie, and today I am making Donair. So some of you are probably wondering, what is Donair? Well, I had never heard of it until I married my husband. He had tried it when he was out on the east coast of Canada, and I was quite excited to try it myself. I like to try new foods, and sure enough, I enjoyed it a lot. It is a meat that is seasoned. We make ours out of beef. Some people, I know I've heard of other places where they make it out of lamb, but it's ground up and it's seasoned and it's put onto a pole, and the pole spins around almost like shawarma. If you've ever had shawarma, it's very similar to that in the sense that it's put onto a pole and it is shaved off. But the shawarma is made of chicken, whereas the Donair meat is actually like a beef or a lamb. It's ground up and it's formed onto this pole that spins around and roasts. Well, when it's done and you are serving it up, you shave it off, like I said, into a pita or a sub. Some places do Donair subs, and then other places do Donairs in tortillas. My husband and I have had it in tortillas and pitas. We like both. When we're at home, we use tortillas, but when we go out, usually it's on a pita. Well, then they take that pita and they will put a sweet garlic sauce drizzled all over the top of it. You can also have cheese put on it, usually mozzarella or something along those lines. Then there's chopped onions and tomatoes. My husband and I don't always get the onions and tomatoes. My husband isn't a huge fan of onions or tomatoes, and so we've always just kind of opted out with that. So I can't tell you how excited I was when I actually found a recipe for Donair where I could make it at home. And so I have been making Donair meat at home for quite a few years now. My husband and I have worked really hard at perfecting it, trying to get it as close as we can to with the resources that we have. And so we have a recipe that I would like to share with you. So let's get started. So when making Donairs, you start with the meat first, and I use my KitchenAid to mix everything together because it's a lot easier and it gets everything well mixed. And so starting off, I use 1 pound of ground beef, one-third of a cup of breadcrumbs, anywhere from a 1/4 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, depending on how hot you want it, 1.5 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, also 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to just go ahead and mix this really well. You want it all to be well mixed, no clumps of the spices anywhere throughout the meat. Now once your meat has been well mixed together, you're going to put it into a meatloaf pan, and you are going to want to bake it in the oven. Now you have 2 options. You can bake it at 300 degrees for an hour and a half, maybe 2 max, or you can just bake it in the oven at 350 for about 30 to 45 minutes. That's normally what I do because I usually don't have much time. Then, to make the sauce, while that's cooking, you will take 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, and you will take that same can and fill it half full of vinegar and pour that in and start mixing it together really well. Once you start to get a nice creamy sauce-like texture to it, you're going to start adding garlic powder. Now, this is kind of optional. You can do a teaspoon of it, and that's what my recipe normally calls for, or you can just kind of do it to taste. If you don't like a ton of garlic, then I would suggest just kind of sprinkle it in and add it to the garlic taste that you like. Now, just for fun, my husband and I have a ketchup squeeze bottle that we like to fill up with the Donair sauce, and we can just squirt it right onto our Donairs. And so that's what I'm doing here, is just filling up our squeeze bottle. Now, once your meat comes out of the oven, it's going to be shrunk and it's going to have quite a bit of grease around it. So I like to take a paper towel and just kind of dab some of the grease off. I will then put it onto a plate and try to get the grease off of the bottom as well, so that it's not quite as greasy. And then I will normally just cut it up and we'll put it in the fridge and pan fry it as we want to eat the Donairs. But this night we happened to be eating Donairs right away, so I just didn't even bother with pan frying it this night. I just went ahead and sliced it right up into pieces, and we ate it just like this. Now it's time to assemble everything. You will take a tortilla and you will put your Donair meat right on there. You can choose how much you like, whether it's little or a lot. You can put whatever you want there. Sprinkle some cheese, put your Donair sauce. You can also add onions and tomatoes. We like it just like this, and you have a Donair. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And for those of you who are new to this channel, you can hit that red subscribe button down below to catch all of my videos that I upload. There's a little bell there that will notify you every time I upload a new video, which you might want to do. Sometimes I'll throw a random video up there. Usually it's got to do with my pregnancy updates, but I sometimes will throw a random video here or there up, so you might want to click on that bell. For those who would like to comment down below, let me know if you have had Donair and what you think of it. Do you like it? Do you not? I know a few people that have tried it and they don't actually like Donair, but we really enjoy it in our household, and so I hope you do in yours. So I will catch you next week at the same time, and we'll see you then. Bye.